Hi, I'm Abby. This is Abby Matt Reads. Apparently I'm part ghost today, although the bills are still coming through the door in my name, so I know I'm pretty much alive. And this is my March book haul where I show you the 12 books that I bought in March. I'm not including the 2 buddy read books that I received yesterday, which include Shadow and Bone by Lee Bardugo. That I'm excited to read, but I do have 12 other books to show you, and I'm very excited to do so. A special shout out to my good friend Rosa on Twitter, who recommended this library for me. If you know of any beautiful libraries that you visited or just love that you'd like me to feature in my videos, then you should let me know, because this one is beautiful and I would never have found it on my own. And this one is the John Rylands Library in Manchester. The late Victorian neo-Gothic building of this merged into part of Manchester's University Library in July 1972, and they have some pretty cool collections here apparently. There are special collections that are part to be the largest in the UK, which include the medieval illuminated manuscripts, and even a Gutenberg Bible, which I would really actually travel to see. I would love to see that. Amazingly, they also have a claim to the earliest extant New Testament text, which is pretty astonishing. Alright, so I'll let that sink in for a while everyone books a train to Manchester and get on with the books. The first book I'm going to show you is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. She wrote The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which was a really popular book on BookTube like last year, wasn't it? Like everybody read it. So there's a lot of hype surrounding this book. It's about a wildly successful band in the 70s that I've heard are kind of loosely based on Fleetwood Mac. It's kind of told through interviews and song lyrics, and it's just the story of their kind of wild ride, their sex, drugs and rock and roll. And if it's as good as The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, then I'm going to love this book, because it sounds like something I will love, and I can't wait to read it. The next book I want to show you is Stephen King's Pet Sematary. Now, this has just been released as a film that I'm dying to see, but I have to always read the books before I watch the film. And not only that, I have heard from a lot of people that it's quite a really creepy book. I know Cressida from Starcross Books actually got nightmares from reading this, and a lot of other people have told me it's very creepy, and I love horror, and the creepier the better in my view. But this is about a Dr. Lewis Creed, who buys what he thinks is the perfect house for him and his family, but in this kind of path behind his house that leads to a pet cemetery where children bury their beloved pets, but are they really dead? Who knows? The next book is a bit of a ghost book. If it gets too bad and I can't put a book that you can't see properly, I'll just put it in the corner, but this is okay. This is The Queen's Choice by Anne O'Brien. It's a historical fiction book, because you know I love historical fiction. And it is set in France, 1399, where I think her name is Joanne of Navarre, who is the widow of the Duke of Brittany. And she receives a marriage proposal from the Henry IV of England. She kind of needs to accept it, but taking that offer would mean she had to leave everything behind, including her independence. And to top that all off, I think the king is just clinging to his crown because war is brewing. And this sounds just right up my street. The next is one, yeah, you can make that out. The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. She wrote Circe, which I wasn't so keen of. Gave it 3 stars, wasn't terrible. Hoping I like this one more. This one follows Patroclus, I hope I'm saying that right, who is exiled into the court of Peleus and meets his son Achilles, and they become very close friends. I'm thinking probably more than friends. And then Helen of Sparta is kidnapped, and Achilles goes off to war to, I think, avenge or rescue her, and Patroclus follows. Like I'm saying, I hope this is better than Circe. Because I didn't hate Circe, so I think I want to give Madeline Miller another chance and read this. And also, this is actually just the first of my mythology books in this haul. The next book is Jodi Picoult's A Spark of Life. I can never say Picoult properly, but I've always loved her books. For many, many years now, I've been reading her. And this one takes place in a reproductive centre in America where a pro-life gunman is taking hostages. The story, I believe, kind of works backwards. So throughout each character, so you can kind of see the events, the actions, the decisions, and the secrets that led them all to this point that they're now in, being taken hostage at gunpoint. And Jodi Picoult has always kind of never shied away from very kind of controversial or heavy-hitting topics, and explored them in a lot of depth from a lot of other points of view in every book she writes. So this should be a good one, and I'm looking forward to reading it. Next is one that is so see-through, I'm definitely putting a picture up on the side, but it is Giovanni and Tom Fletcher's Eve of Man. I've seen a few people have bought this book, but I don't think most people kind of know what it's about. Eve is, I think, the last woman on earth. She's 16, and they've selected 3 men for her to kind of reproduce with, to kind of repopulate. But she falls in love with someone called Bram, and now she must choose what to do between love and the kind of fate of man. Right, at least this book is nice and clear. This is Kate Moss's The Burning Chambers, again, historical fiction. This is a kind of thrilling historical fiction that follows a 19-year-old girl, Minyao, I don't know how you spell it, in a Carcassonne in 1562. This girl receives an anonymous letter that simply says, "I know she lives." And before she can decipher what it means, she meets a guy called Pierre, and he is a kind of dangerous man on a dangerous mission, and meeting him and interacting with him changes her life forever. I've never read any of Kate Moss's books before, but I have heard they're really good. I have heard a lot of hype around her in the kind of historical fiction groups I'm on Facebook. So I saw this in the supermarket, and I thought this would be a good chance to give her a go finally. The next book is Vox by Christina Dalcher, and this is about Jean, who lives in silence because in this world women are only allowed to speak up to 100 words a day, or they get an electric shock. Spencer's in the corner celebrating, wishing that would happen here, because I would get a lot of electric shocks. So just keep on dreaming, Spencer. Anyway, I've lost my thread now. Oh yeah, the new government comes into power and tries to strip women of even more rights. And Jean, she is a mother, tries to reclaim her lost voice. The next book I would like to show you is The Dolls by Kiki Sullivan. And I have to admit, I saw this in a kind of outlet place that was doing books for very cheap. And I didn't know what it was about, and I still don't know a lot what it's about, but it has like these pink, which look red here, kind of pinky red pages. And I thought, oh, I'll get that. From what I've found out, it's the first in a very long series about these dolls who are these impossibly beautiful, graceful people that everybody wants to be. But a kind of killer comes in to the story, and for some reason these dolls are the only ones who can stop him. So I don't hold on. I think this is either going to be really, really good or really awful, and I'm going to find out at some point in the next few weeks. Next is a book I'm very excited about, The Taking of Annie Thorne by C.J. Tudor, and she wrote The Chalkman, and I absolutely loved that, and I'm really hoping that this can live up and be just as good as The Chalkman. It's called The Hiding Place in the US and has a different cover. But it's basically, from what I can gather, about Annie Thorne, a young girl who disappears for 48 hours and then comes back, but will not say a word to anyone about where she has been. Only her brother Joe knows something has changed because Annie has changed. And it's all very creepy, and I'm very excited to read this. Just a quick synopsis on this. Mary Queen of Scots. It was a film that came out a few months ago, was quite popular. This book was originally called My Heart Is My Own, and it's by John Guy, and it just explores the rivalry between Elizabeth I and Mary Queen of Scots, which the Tudors are my favourite part of history and my favourite to read about in historical fiction. So I'm looking forward to this, and then hopefully I can finally watch the film at some point because I knew I had to read the book first. The last book I'm going to show you is Neil Gaiman's Norse Mythology, and the second of the mythology kind of books that I'm going to read soon, hopefully. And I think this is going to be great. I will read anything Neil Gaiman. I absolutely loved American Gods, and his short stories are just staggering to me. His imagination, the way he writes, it's just absolute genius. And here he retells a lot of old Norse mythology stories, and that's really all there is to it, but I think it's going to be really entertaining. Okay, so thank you for sticking around and watching my haul. You can please subscribe if you haven't already, because I am finally on 209 subscribers, which is the most I've ever got. And if I could pass the 210 mark, I'd be really, really happy, because I've been stuck between 200 and 209 all year, basically. So if you could help me out with that, if you haven't already subscribed, then please do. If you like the video, please click the thumbs up below. If you haven't liked the video but you like me and pity me, please put the thumbs up down below as well. You can tweet me about libraries or books or anything like that on @AbbieMattReads on Twitter. I have a Facebook page for this channel on Facebook, which is facebook.com/AbbieMattReads. And please say in the comments if you've read any of these books, if you're interested in any of these books, if you want to buddy read any of these books with me, and we'll make it happen. Thanks for watching. Bye.